Hello. The purpose of this video is to discuss the structure for our cafe project. But before that, there is no um, reason not for you to get inspired with other cafes that has been already designed. So if you type in cafe and go to images, and you would certainly see uh, cafe restaurants that is existing. Okay, so you can see how it's set up. Um, Now yours has that's the outside, it's the inside, inside. So this is not going to be our primary realm in discussing and designing the inside and how it looks. That's going to be more of interior. Okay, but certainly designers should have your own sort of um, style or something that you are going with. Okay. So since you have a second floor, we can type in a cafe and then second floor. My internet's a little laggy tonight, but yes, certainly you can design and get inspired from cafes that have second floors, right? So Um, here is a cafe. The theme is sort of there's like a forest inside. Certainly quiet areas to sit around. Um, There's a cafe that has like a little balcony here with glass. Okay, so you can type in cafe second floor and type in balcony. Okay, so Um, yeah, so here's in, I guess, Nolan's. You would have those cafes. I think this is the same one in Hanoi. Here's an open balcony cafe. Um, Here's one also with an sort of an open outdoor balcony. Okay, so you're gonna be free to design whatever you want. Although open balconies would post a problem with the rain, and that would be more expensive for wood structures to have an open balcony. You have to put a slab there, and that would make it. It could be done, but again, we wanna be realistic here on the design of this one. So you can even have a cafe with a mezzanine on it. Okay, mezzanine. So you can have a cafe where um, the cafe would have an upper floor, but the front end is open like this one. Okay, there's a front stairs here, cafe, and then there's an open portion. That's sort of a mezzanine look. Okay, here's another one where you have the second floor going, and then there's an open space in front. Okay, something like this too, although this one's narrow. Our project is a little bit wide, and if it's wide you can see that there are structural elements here because spanning a 40 feet um, width or gap becomes a little more expensive because the members are going to be uh, deep. uh, And so as you can see here, you would have columns, okay? Because yeah, although it can be done, it becomes more very expensive. And for this project, we don't have a structural engineer, and this is not about structural design per se, but more architectural. I will be the structural engineer who will be confining your designs. So, having said that, because we want it to be realistic as possible, here's a model of what your structure probably should look like. Okay. Although 40 feet can be spanned, the members that we need to span at 40 feet might be steel, and the depth of that one might be as deep as like maybe 36 inches to 48 inches, which adds to the load, I mean, which adds to the depth of your ceiling. Also, for the roof, it doesn't matter because the load on the roof is really light, maybe 30, 40 pounds per square inch. Okay. But if you're going to house people going up the stairs and congregating up here, then the load is significantly going to be like 80 to 100 pounds per square foot. And it can still be done, but again, it will be very expensive. And I was discussing this with another student and say that, well, money is no objective for this project. Um, yes, but we will be realistic. So I am going to confine you to provide columns and not span the whole uh, 40 feet or something. So we're going to have a confinement of span of around 20 feet, 21, 22 feet. And that means that you are going to use some web joists, wood web joists. And that means that this web joist that only spans 20 feet or 21 feet will have to have a wall to ride on. So this joist will have to sit on a wall. So you can have another wall here that we could sit on. But if you need an open space, then you would have to put a like a big beam here. This one is a model of a glue lamp beam. So there's going to be a hefty beam, and then the joist is riding on that beam, and then you're going to have a post. Okay, and since this particular portion here, okay, um, where it's being broken up by the stairs, it's going to be a shorter span, and you can use an ordinary joist here. Here's an ordinary joist. It's maybe spaced at 12 inches apart. This one probably spaced at 16 inches apart or something like that. So you would have a post. Okay, you will have a post between this post and the next one. We're gonna also uh, max it about 20 feet. So you either have a post or a wall that this beam will be riding on top of. So we're not gonna have like an open type design. It doesn't give you that realistic element of a small project, but it can be done. Okay, so and if you wanted to like have a mezzanine open area, then that means that you're going to like bring this back, let's say 10 feet, your structure 10 feet. So now that you brought it back 10 feet, that means that this space here is going to be open, okay, and people can look down here. Um, and you may choose to have this beam continue up front, or you may just cut it here. You just have to remember that if you offset this or push it back, if you have a mezzanine, that if you have a stair going up and then turn around, that because there's no floor here, that you do have to have sort of um, you have to have a landing that goes back here so that it could go onto your floor wherever it is. Okay, so if you do have a stair going like this, when you land here, you still have to go back here. So you must have like this little walkway or corridor. Okay, and then you would have columns here. Okay, if you don't have a wall here, so let's say you don't have this wall here, um, here in the back. Okay, then you do have to put in another column here in the back. I lost my access. So yeah, this one is I'm using SketchUp. Okay. So you do have to have that column there to carry the load of the beam if you don't have a wall. But if you do have a wall, then you don't need to you need to have a column back there. So you put a column because you want to use the space down below as an open space. Okay. So you do have to have that if you don't have that wall behind it. Okay. So again, that long span it can be done, but that would be too deep, too expensive. And these columns over here, they typically are going to go also wherever they are, they will span up onto the second floor. So wherever you have the columns, you're going to have another set of columns up there. Okay. And they would help also carry the roof so it doesn't have to span and um, use an expensive truss system, steel truss system. Yeah. Now, if you do wanted like to sort of have like an industrial look, okay, like this one with I beams, yeah, you can still do that. Okay, you can still do the look of an I beam, and this is primarily not the real structure. The real structure will be behind it. You can see we still have that um, glue lamp beam, hefty beam with the IO joist and the ordinary joist here. But because you wanted to have that look of an I-beam or industrial look, then yeah, you can still have that. But that's more of a character design. Okay. So um, when you do your floor plan later, if you wanted to use an I-beam for the column, then you have to like indicate that you wanted to have an I-beam. Okay. And we can certainly talk about I-beams later or what it looks like in plan. But yeah, I hope you have a better understanding of the structure. Uh, we're going to be realistic and not span the whole 40 feet because it tends to be very expensive uh, and it will make our structural for the second floor deeper because we need to accommodate for the uh, live and dead load of people, occupying the second floor, which might be 80 to 100 um, pounds per square inch, right? Okay, so yeah, so try to think of the span of your space and that it might get interrupted by a column every 20 feet. Okay, because again, we want to be realistic. Expense is a real problem in construction. Uh, if you design something that is too expensive, that project may die. The owner might say, "I don't have that much money now. I thought it will only cost me 1 million. Now it's like 2 million," and it has something to do with the way the architects designed the building. They designed them too expensive, primarily because of the structure, not because of the architectural elements. And so we have to always think of the cost of the project. And if we made this like a no problem money kind of project, then we are making this project unrealistic because in the real world, when we do work for architectural firms locally, maybe here in Sacramento, we are going to always be defined by the cost of the project and limit them to something economical because the more um, outrageous, the more non-ordinary your project is, the more expensive it becomes, and it becomes a problem down the road. That projects we want to see our projects built. Okay, we don't want to design something and never build. There's a lot of those. Like the owner would spend, 50,000 having an architect design something, and then when it comes to implementation, cost has skyrocketed because you're doing this for what 3 months, 3 months of work It's now you got paid, but the project wasn't executed. And so yeah. So for this cafe project, let's limit ourselves to spans of 20 feet, maybe 22 feet max. That means that you have to put a column on an open space every 20 feet by 20 feet. Okay. You can put it less than 20 feet. You can put it at 10 feet, but basically, not having a column is really great. But again, if you don't have a column, that means that you have a hefty structure, which becomes more expensive. Okay. And yeah, so when you're doing your schematics, think of the location of your columns because columns are going to be carrying beams and beams will be carrying joist. Okay?